All right, we have some big news coming in. On the top of 6, India has announced the squad for the South Africa series England test. And there will be Rohit, Virat and Bumrah have been rested for the South Africa T20 internationals. Rahul will be the captain, while Rishabh Pant has been named as the vice captain. Hardik Pandya has also made a return. So, of course, there are some interesting names that have come forth in this fresh announcement that has come of the T20 in South Africa. Let's go across now to our consulting editor, Nikhil Naz. Now, Nikhil, hi, this is very interesting. Well, how do you look at the names? Because for someone who may not be tracking these names on a regular basis, for the top 3 names to be rested for the T20, Rahul to captain, Rishabh Pant named vice captain, what do you make of it?
This was on the cards because of a very hectic international season that some of these top players that you mentioned, the likes of Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Jasprit, Bumrah have had. This was on the cards. This was expected that they may be rested. In fact, there were a few other names doing the rounds that may have been rested for this South Africa series at home. The South African team is going to be coming to India playing 5 T20Is. But other names like Rishabh Pant, Rahul were also expected to be rested. They haven't. So they'll continue playing. So these 3 big names rested was expected because they're also going to be concentrating, apart from having a very busy international schedule, will also be concentrating on the test series in England. That's very, very crucial. Now, India wants to win that series. They were ahead when that series came to a standstill because of COVID cases last year. So now that's the focus of the Indian team. Let's take a look at the T20 team. I think the most interesting bits have been a few young players that have been given a chance because a few seniors have been rested. Top of that list will be Umran Malik. He's been this one sensation that's really ruled the IPL. We call him the TRP, one of the fastest bowlers that India has seen, and many expected him to be fast-tracked into the Indian team, to be brought into the Indian team as soon as possible, and that's happened. Now, as I said, he's been sensational in the IPL. Just imagine, just about a year ago is the first time he played any sort of domestic first-class cricket, and after that he has been fast-tracked. After just 1.5 good season in the IPL, he now finds himself in the Indian team. Many big stalwarts of cricket had said that fast-track this guy. He's bowling at 150 plus. He's making all the batsmen very uncomfortable. He needs to be in the Indian team as fast as possible. You know, comes from a very, very humble background in Jammu. And a year ago he was playing tennis ball cricket. Now he's going to be making his debut for India. So I think that's the standout story of this selection. Arshdeep Singh, again a youngster, 23 years of age from Punjab, also just 2 or 3 years old in domestic cricket, has done very well in the IPL. He's the other big story that has made it to the Indian team. The other standout feature of this T20 team, Pooja, is that the Indian selectors have not discarded players that have not done well in the IPL and have not removed them from that international team. They've persisted with them despite not having a great IPL, and that tells you that there's some sort of stability now emerging in the Indian team, and it's a tough South African team that they will be facing. Of course, the test series, there are many more talking points on that.
Very interesting. So, of course, it will be Umran Malik Arshdeep getting that big moment of a chance here. And, of course, the big names, 3 big names are being rested for this. Stay on with me, Nikhil, because apart from the T20 International, the test team also has been announced. The Indian squad for the rescheduled test in England. This time, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli and Bumrah will be in the squad for the England test. Cheteshwar Pujara has also been named, while Ajinkya Rahane has been kept out. Mayank has also been dropped. Shubman Gill making a return. Let's go quickly to Nikhil Naz for all other names here in the squad. So, of course, expectedly here, Nikhil, if they are being rested for the T20, including those big names back into the test games. But take us through the other names also here for the test squad of the Indian team.
Well, just looking at the test squad, Pooja, at the moment, sorry, I couldn't hear your question very clearly, but I'm just going to focus on the test squad at the moment. As I said, the 3 big names return here because India has that, eyes on winning that test series in England. It doesn't come very easily. They were leading in that series before there were a few corona cases, and that series had to be stopped, in the middle. So that's the series that India is going to be focusing on. So these big players resting will be refreshed and ready to go in that test series. What other big talk talking point in that test team is going to be that of Cheteshwar Pujara. Remember, he's been a stalwart of the Indian test team. He was dropped after not a great South Africa series, and many thought that this could be the end of the road for him as far as his test career is concerned. But that's not happened. You know what Cheteshwar Pujara did? While the entire country and all the players were playing the IPL, Cheteshwar Pujara went to England, played county cricket, got runs in ton, lots of runs under his belt, showed that, you know, he's still good enough to play for the Indian team, and because those runs have come in English conditions and you're going to be playing a test series there, so he has been brought back into the test team. The only unfortunate player to miss out from that test squad is Mayank Agarwal. Of course, his form had been patchy, but now that Cheteshwar Pujara comes in, there is going to be a very, very close contest when it comes to India's middle order, because there were other contenders like Shreyas Iyer as well, you know, waiting to get that chance in the middle order. There's Hanuma Vihari, so that conundrum will have to be looked at when you pick your 11. But Cheteshwar Pujara coming back into the Indian test team, I think that's the biggest story coming out of that test squad announcement.
Two questions here, Nikhil. Ajinkya Rahane and Mayank, both of them have been dropped. One, why do you think that has happened here? And secondly, combining both the T20 international and the test squad, how are you looking at both the Indian teams here? Do you think, according to your experience, that they come across as a solid team this time?
Well, yes, Pooja, the Indian team, of course, is very, very solid. The fact that they won in Australia, the fact that they're leading in England tells you that they're a very, very strong squad. You spoke about Ajinkya Rahane. I know he, alongside Cheteshwar Pujara, had been dropped, but while Cheteshwar Pujara has come, Ajinkya Rahane doesn't find his spot. Now, two reasons behind that. One, as I told you, Cheteshwar Pujara decided to skip the IPL. That's another matter, that no IPL team actually picked him, but he made full use of that opportunity by playing county cricket and scored a lot of runs. So he comes back. Now, what happens to Ajinkya Rahane? Ajinkya had a not so great IPL, playing for Kolkata Knight Riders, but you know what he's actually done right now? He's got a bit of an injury, a bit of a niggle, Ajinkya Rahane. So even if the selectors were going to look at him for his experience to help the Indian team out in England, I think that injury has really done him in, so he's not going to be available. The other one to watch out for, and one of the other senior players, because we are talking about Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, as well as Jasprit Bumrah. The fourth senior in that is Ravindra Jadeja, again a very, very crucial member of the Indian team across all formats. He's not playing the T20 series because, if you know, he left the IPL because of an injury, but he makes a return to the test team. So that's heartening news for Indian fans, makes that Indian test team even more stronger. That means the niggle isn't very serious. He has been named in the test squad, so he will be available. So actually four very crucial and senior players of the Indian squad that are not really at the moment part of the T20 series, but part of the test squad. The T20 series is going to be very interesting, Pooja, and I know that there is a reason that you've rested these few senior players.
Yes.
But the South African team that will be touring here, the South African team has been announced. It's looking like a very, very strong team on paper. It's not going to be easy for this Indian team, especially with the likes of Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Jasprit Bumrah not there. So that will be a very, very closely contested series. But it's also an opportunity for all these young guys who've been given the opportunity. I was talking about the likes of Arshdeep Singh, the like of Umran Malik, who's been picked. Ruturaj Gaikwad has been retained. Remember, he got injured last time, hasn't had a great IPL, but the selectors have kept faith in him. I think these players are going to get a chance because senior players are missing, but that's going to be a very, very closely contested series, the T20 series.
Thank you so much, Nikhil, for putting it in perspective. The T20 and the Test Indian squads have now been announced, and specifically it will be a big opportunity for some young players to, of course, shine in these games that are all set to come up in just a few days. Thank you so much, Nikhil, for the latest.